Hello guys, and welcome to another episode. So today we're going to talk about the case of Vanita Seghani, and we're just going to jump right into the story. So our case begins on April 3rd, 2022. Police are called to Mandi flat Langata. They rush there, rush to one of the flats, break the door and enter, and what they find is shocking. They find a woman's body hanging from a window. So let's backtrack a little. What really happened? What led to this? How did Vanita end up there? Vanita Seghani was a 27-year-old mother of 3 to a 4-year-old son and 2 twin babies. And the twin babies were actually just newborns. They were 3 months old. She was from India and had immigrated to Kenya for marriage purposes. So she was brought in to marry a Kenyan Indian man. So their marriage was described as being very strained. It was quite a rocky one. There's a lot of abuse going in there, and the husband is described as being quite the drunk. He would leave home, go hang out with friends in a bar, and then return home drunk. He would then abuse Vanita and would never really provide for the family. So this was the cycle Vanita was in, and might I stress, these are just, things that the family and friends have said. So they're not my words, they're just reports. We can't confirm if this was true, but this was what was reported. Now, this was the cycle Vanita was in, a drunkard husband who came home, abused her, and then denied her any money for the family. Now, if you're in this kind of situation, it quickly wears you down. So it really wore her down quickly, and Vanita was just tired of it all, and still adjusting to another country. I believe the situation was quite stressful. So, and she just didn't sit there. She actually sought help. She wanted somebody to intervene because she knew things were not really good in the marriage. So she went to the Samaj committee, and the Samaj committee actually apparently handles Indian issues, whether it's divorce or any Indian issue within the marriage or within the community, the Indian community. If you have a problem, you go to the Samaj committee. And she asked them to help her. So she went to the Samaj committee several times, and she reported the domestic violence. And the response of the Samaj was quite slow in coming. They didn't help her. Essentially, they just ignored her. And that is what really angers a lot of people with this case. Like, she asked for help. They always tell women, go ask for help. She went to ask for help. She did the right thing, but nobody listened to her. Nobody helped her. And she might have felt quite trapped in a marriage in a different country. She doesn't have a job. She's trying to raise 3 children on her own. Might have been really quite stressful for Vanita. Now, this marriage, situation is what is believed to be what led to the events of 3rd April 2022. Now, let's go back to the investigation. Now, the preliminary investigation into the case suggested that Vanita had taken her own life. Now, at the scene where Vanita was found, near the window, there was a stool there, and they, the police thought that Vanita might have used the stool to get to a higher position to tie the clothes. That's what the police thought the first time they're looking at it. Now, looking at the timeline that morning, it was reported that the husband left at 6 a.m. in the morning, and the night before he had returned home late, and then he left early in the morning after having a very heated argument with Vanita. And it's reported they argued over the fact that Vanita had allowed her son to go with a neighbor to a temple. She was going to follow later to the temple, and collect her son and also go there, but the husband was upset about that, and he told off Vanita essentially. And Vanita was also upset about that, and he left in the morning, and some reports say he went to a mall, to a bar, but some other reports say that he was called out by a friend so that the friend could buy him breakfast. those are just, you know, what's reported in there. But essentially he left that early morning at 6 a.m. leaving Vanita in the home. So the 4-year-old son isn't there, Vanita's husband isn't there, and Vanita's there with the 2 babies. Now another report says that one of the twins had actually been with a relative, so only one twin was in the house with her, and the twin was found when Vanita was found, but the twin was okay, no harm had come to the child. So that's what happened. So they left Vanita at home. So this is where we don't really know what happened to Vanita. So the first time the police assessed the scene, they thought it was a suicide. According to what they were looking at, they thought it was a suicide, and they ran with that theory and they closed the case. And you know, the media actually took that and ran with it as well. So when that theory came out, the community was quite outraged by that the case was just closed quickly and it was classed as a suicide. And yet Vanita, by the community knew actually that Vanita sought help and nobody listened to her. Nobody helped her when she was undergoing domestic violence. So they thought maybe the scene could have been staged and then made to look like it was a suicide, and it was not. And they wanted the police to reopen the investigation. They thought it was quite convenient for the husband to be out of the door, you know, for Vanita to do this just when the husband is out of the door. They thought that was quite strange, you know, very convenient for him. So they wanted a full reinvestigation to be done, and they pushed back hard. They really stood by Vanita. The police then had to reassess the scene. So after pressure and outcry from the community, the police reassessed the scene. They noticed that the knots on the clothes that was found there, the knots were quite elaborate, not something that Vanita would do if she were to do this. And when they went to check the CCTV, they found out that it was deleted. The CCTV was mounted on an adjacent temple which pointed either to the flat or the window, and they went to check that out, but it was deleted. So definitely looks suspicious, and you know, because of this they arrested the husband on the suspicion of murder. So, and definitely it looked as if something or someone was trying to cover up what happened to Vanita because of the CCTV. So the weird knots on the clothes made them believe that possibly the husband could have been involved. He staged the scene and then took off. So that was it. I'm not so sure if he's out now, but he was arrested for investigation. Now the first theory is that Vanita could have been the one to do this. She could have been the one to end her life because maybe she felt helpless in another country with an abusive, unsupportive husband. She could have just been tired of it all. No one was coming to her rescue. She felt trapped and decided to end her life. The deleted CCTV could have just been written over, as some do, but it has to be that specific type. You know, some CCTVs actually record during the day, but on recording the next day it actually just writes over the other day, so you won't be able to recover the footage of the previous day because it writes over it. But then again, it has to be that specific type, and it has to be proven that it wasn't manually deleted. Now theory 2, you know, so maybe because of that, because of the CCTV being that type and Vanita being found there, and you know, maybe she could have been the one to do this because she felt so trapped and she decided to end her own life. That's theory 1. Theory 2, maybe it was the husband. He just maybe attacked Vanita violently that day, and then he staged, you know, the scene to look like Vanita did this when she didn't, and then deleted the CCTV to cover his tracks. You know, that could be the case, but I'm not sure, and this shouldn't be taken as fact. This is just a theory. Now if this is the case, I'm absolutely disgusted by this man. He had the audacity to bring Vanita from another country, abuse her, then murder her, and then try to get away with it. That's pure evil if he did this. So we're not sure. Okay, so for now not much has come out, and you know, still investigation is being done into the case, and I'm hoping that thorough investigation is done and that the truth is uncovered. And I think why people are most enraged about this case is the lack of help. Nobody helped Vanita, and the domestic violence here is really appalling. Humans should really stop treating each other like that. They should stop taking each other for granted. Just be respectful, everyone has a right to be respected. Everyone should be treated right. No one should be treated any other or any less. So I think that's what really pissed a lot of people off, that this was going on. She sought help and nobody helped her, and that it has to stop really. Humans are better than this. You can't treat another human like a punching bag. It should stop, really, it should stop. I've left resources down below you which you can check if you're going through domestic violence. For Vanita, I'm really sorry, dear Vanita, that where you are supposed to be loved, you are not. Where you're supposed to be safe, you are not. Where you're supposed to be respected, you are not. Who you were supposed to trust betrayed that trust. I'm really sorry for the hurt. I'm really sorry for the pain. And I'm hoping that now you are at peace. And now the pain is gone. And that now you are resting. Vanita dear, know that even though you wanted that one person to love you, know that you were and are still loved by so many more. Thank you for your kindness, for your laughter, your warmth, your nurturing personality. Thank you for being you. We couldn't have asked for any other person. So thank you, Vanita. We do hope that you are resting in peace.